Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of Coach Camp in Studio with Shelby Rowe Productions. So this week I am going to continue down that same line of mental health positivity that I've started with. So we talked about light pushing out darkness. We also talked about the obvious that everybody at some point in time goes through anxiety, depression, those feelings of failure within themselves. And so now what I want to do is kind of give you guys how I use, or what I use as an approach to combating some of that. And I think that's one of the keys too, is as a teacher, as a mentor, and as somebody that wants to be a positive motivator, you have to give some tools to work with. And that's all I do as far as a paramedic instructor is I'm constantly trying to give my students some tools to work with. So for this week, I want to give you some tools that I use to work and combat some of that. And part of that is, I mentioned last week about purpose, and we all have a purpose and we're all here for a reason. And I totally believe that. And sometimes it's not always obvious to us what that will be, but it's so important that we keep looking for it. And one of the things that I do, and I do it regularly, it's always evolving, is I set goals. Even if they're small goals. It's not always something that's just, massive, like finishing a college degree or going after like an Ironman as an example. There are a lot of what I refer to as the micro goals, those little goals along the way that kind of keep life interesting, that give you something to work for, think about, and take your mind off of anything that is maybe not necessarily going your way. And that can be anything. Sometimes for some of us, it might just be eating healthier for a week or 2 weeks or a month. Setting small goals and achieving those things requires us to stay focused on that. It does give us a purpose. And whenever you achieve those goals, it gives you a sense of satisfaction that you've been able to set your mind to something, have some self-discipline, and work toward achieving whatever that goal is. I'm going to tell you right now, for me, there are probably more than there should be goals going on right now in my personal life. But one of those goals that I have stayed true to for the year of 2022, and I've mentioned this several times in different videos, is I have ran 2 miles, at least 2 miles every single day. Now some days I run more, but every single day I dedicate 2 miles. And I want to tell you something. Some of those moments, they were profound to me, where I was traveling for 12 or 13 hours in a day, coming back from like Orlando, Florida as an example. And you realize 24 hours is ticking and you have to find time to get those 2 miles in. And whenever you do those 2 miles, or on a day you don't feel like doing it, or you're tired, or you've had too much to do, suddenly just achieving those 2 miles kind of takes away a lot of the other things that may have happened in that day that was kind of negative. And so that's what I want to challenge you guys with. So as we're thinking about mental health, we're thinking about how to combat depression, we're thinking about how to stave off anxieties. Give yourself small goals. It doesn't have to be a massive goal. It could be something very small or something that's pretty regular. Work toward that. Continue to achieve. Continue to push forward. And continue to tune in, because next week I'm going to wrap up this last series that we've had about mental health, and we're going to be going into a podcast where that is what I'm going to address for about 3 or 4 episodes. It is something that's very important to me, and I think, really, to be honest with you, mental health is where all positivity starts from. So continue to tune in, like, share, and as always, be good to one another.